if you had to, the rest of your life, only listen to Blank Space, Unwritten, or Hold My Hand, that's the only song you can hear the rest of your life.
You know, I'm just wondering which of those songs will be played at my funeral.
Glenn, buddy, here we go again. You ready?
Here we go, man. Let's saddle up. Let's do this again.
Look, I bought my Glen Powell stock early, and it is reaping big dividends. Thank you, buddy.
No, my pleasure, man. Thanks for buying in early. You were one of very few.
That's not true. Does it feel like, in all honesty, does it feel a little different now? Like, look, we've talked about so many successful projects in recent years. This year alone, we've got Hitman, we've got Twisters coming. You haven't changed, but the perception of you has changed. Or have you changed? Like, your status in the industry is much different than it was 5-10 years ago.
Oh, can you take my masseuse? Can you take my masseuse step out real quick? Thank you. Sorry. What were you saying?
Goddamn layup. So he has changed.
No, man. The job's the same.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I got into this because I really love movies and I love making movies and I love talking to you, people like you who love movies and get excited about this stuff. So it's like, nothing's changed, but it has, I gotta say, Anyone But You and the success of Anyone But You it's been wild because it holds a very special place in people's hearts. People get very,
Totally.
there's something about rom-coms that are very rewatchable. And like, again, Dermot Mulroney told me this when we made that movie. He's like, if you represent love to people on the screen, there's an immediate connection there, which has really been nice.
Let's talk Hitman. I love this movie. This is a labor of love. I mean, you are not only the star of this, you are a co-writer of this. It must be a huge full circle moment for you. You're being directed by Linklater, who you've been in his films before. I assume you were a fan growing up. Now you are being, co-writing this with him. What does, young Glen Powell think of the fact that he's co-writing and starring in a Linklater movie?
It's like, so I grew up in Austin, Texas. I went to this high school called Westwood High School. My professor, Dr. Shack, he was my creative writing teacher in Westwood. And everybody else was writing prose and poetry, and I was writing screenplays in this creative writing class. He was obsessed with Richard Linklater, so I became obsessed with Richard Linklater, and I watched all of his stuff. And then Rick's editor came in to talk to my creative writing class and talked about the process of how to assemble a movie and story and the emotional impact of it. So I was felt like I knew Linklater, and then I got to audition for Fast Food Nation when I was 14 years old. And I have a small, tiny role with Paul Dano in that movie, just a couple lines. Probably not delivered well, but I'm in the movie. And I got to strike up this friendship with Rick, and then, about 10 years later, we got to make a movie called Everybody Wants Some, which is, sort of a spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused. And then I got to make this movie Apollo 10.5 with him, and then this one to full circle to kind of bring him this idea, this article that I think is really cool, and we kind of baked up the idea, outlined it, and then wrote the screenplay together, produced it, and it felt effortless. There was no. It's like being in the trenches with one of your best buddies. It's just It's just great.
So let's put you on the couch for a second. You write this story. This is based on a true story. Gary is a teacher / undercover cop. He's kind of moonlighting for the police department.
Yep.
Now he adopts a lot of different identities in the course of the film. A lot of them are not necessarily the most attractive human beings on the planet. Gary,
speak for yourself. Everybody's got their type.
It's okay. We'll get to that. And Gary himself is often referred to as boring, kind of nondescript.
Yeah.
You okay? Is this how you see yourself?
Yeah, man. Just when I look in the mirror, it's just. No, man. It's I think that's the interesting part about this movie is it contemplates. You could be. Everybody, sees themselves differently. It's how the world sees you and how you see yourself. And it's it's not even just being. This movie's not just about changing costumes and wigs and teeth and putting on different accents. It's really about becoming the fantasy for yourself. Your best self. And it's he doesn't see himself as a guy people notice or that anybody finds him interesting. And there's a bit of wish fulfillment in this movie about no matter who you are, what you look like, how you speak, anything like that. It's you can be the best version if you just put your mind to it.
So that being said, putting on a silly wig and some fake teeth and a fake neck tattoo.
Yeah.
That's why you got into this in the first place. I mean, that's a fun day. I mean, you look at one point, you're am I looking at a redheaded Tilda Swinton or am I looking at Glen Powell?
Yeah. We call that character now Tilda Weasley.
I love it. Totally. Did you have a favorite look that you adopted when you looked in the mirror?
Tilda Weasley's pretty good. It was never intended to be Tilda until someone brought that up, and you just can't shake it.
Oh, it's undeniable. 100%.
You can't shake it afterwards. No, I mean, there's this character Tanner who's sort of this like redneck, kind of guy who's missing half of his back teeth, and he's got a dip in. There's like all these characters. The fun part about one of the things that we kind of strike on the movie is that real retail hitmen do not exist.
Right.
So when these people are trying to hire a person to kill their wife or their husband or their business partner, they don't realize that like hitmen don't exist.
Right.
So they are sitting down with a police officer, which by the way, if you're trying to hire a hitman, know that you're probably going to be sitting down with a police officer.
Good
Just
PSA.
don't do it.
Thanks, Glenn.
And that's like the thing is that Gary's process was different. He tried to become the fantasy of what they wanted to see across from him. And I find that like that was kind of the fun is like the reverse engineering of like where to pull these characters from. Like some of the characters are pulled from debriefs of the real life Gary Johnson when he was sitting down with these people. And then some of it's just pulled from like pop culture. Like I pulled one basically straight out of American Psycho.
Totally. Have you ever changed your look for a film and has it rubbed like your friends and loved ones the wrong way? They're like, I have to live with this. I have to be around this the next 6 months.
I'm not really like a method guy.
Yeah.
I'm Glenn by the time I get in my trailer. I'm not like in it. I remember on Everybody Wants Him, I had the mustache and the long hair, and there is something about a mustache that does rub off on you. That's a weird way to phrase that.
Let's think that
Wish
again.
I had to say,
Nope.
Something about a mustache that rubs off on you.
That's the one I'm using.
Yep.
Now, as your stature has increased, as you are more and more recognizable in your day-to-day life, do you ever adopt a disguise? Do you go with baseball cap? Do you go big? Like, what do you do?
When I was trying these characters out, I was trying to see what they kind of looked like in the real life air. So I'd like go and order my coffee with like teeth in or contacts in or maybe like the wig. I'd like try stuff out, like some new, and the funniest part is people recognizing you as Glenn, but you're wearing like you have like fake teeth or like fake contacts. So they're like,
no.
It's so different. His teeth are awful. I got this big gap. He got like a weird hair. It's like, man, this guy's through it.
Yeah. Now they think that the Glen Powell we see on screen is after like 8 hours of makeup. It's the Glen that walked in here today. Rough.
Totally. But yeah, no, it's like I think that's the fun of this job is like you get to wear all these different shoes and try all these different disguises on. In this movie I get to do like 8 characters. So
what's the difference in your mind between acting and lying?
Acting and lying?
Yeah, because Gary is acting.
Yeah.
He's also lying to people. Is there a distinction that you would make?
I mean, I feel like lying, the connotation of lying is like you're doing it in the real world.
Duplicitous.
I say lines, written lines.
They pay me to do this.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
They pay me to do this. Like, I'm not like just trying to like, pull one over on people,
Do you think a little lying is okay with friends and loved ones?
What's the old adage like in Texas, like where it's like saying bless your heart?
Right.
Instead of saying
Yep.
It's basically that. You can tell people how it is, but maybe just say it as bless your heart.
Yeah. Bless your heart, Glenn.
Ouch.
No. Have you ever
Yes.
lied to an actor about seeing one of their films or liking one of their films?
Yeah. Absolutely. I wouldn't say I will if I don't like their movie.
Yeah.
I typically won't say anything unless I say like, sound design. The sound design was amazing. I mean, who built those sets?
Yeah, that's a movie you made. You made it a movie.
Yeah. The movie.
That's definitely a movie.
Start and finish. It's all there. Start to finish.
Have you ever had to be in the predicament of promoting a film that you didn't necessarily like and put on a brave face and say how proud of it you were?
Thank goodness because I'm starting to get to the point where I'm kind of out in front of these things.
Yeah.
I've been part of movies that are not good, but I've just been small, tiny little roles.
Yeah.
So
Talk to the big guy over there. That wasn't me.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, there's a movie star out in front of it.
Right.
I would say that one thing that I am really trying to do right now is not sign on for anything and not make anything I wouldn't want to be out in front of and I wouldn't want to sell. I'm not here to tell people to get into the theaters or go watch this movie if I don't believe in it.
Sure.
Like, I love the feeling of actually being passionate about what I make.
Yep.
So it's like, anyone but you, I love that movie. Hitman,
Yeah.
it's freaking killer. It's great. Twisters is gonna be a freaking killer movie. So it's like I feel proud that I get to actually like what I made, because then you don't feel like you're a used car salesman.
Totally. I've noticed this thing when people talk about you in different films. They always talk about the chemistry Glen has with Adria in this film. Amazing.
Adria Arjona, yeah.
Adria, amazing. The chemistry between you guys is fantastic. But then again, we also hear about it's like the chemistry with Sydney was amazing. The chemistry with Zoe Deutsch was amazing. The commonality. Can Glen Powell just have chemistry with any human being? Is that the answer?
I think I've chosen my leading ladies very well. I'm not hurting for talent and it's, the thing about when you're acting with somebody, you see it. That is definitely not the case where you can have chemistry with anyone, because I've been in chemistry reads where I'm like, ooh, this is tough.
Right.
And probably they feel the same way about me. It's like sometimes it's just not there. But that's where like you see magic on camera, is like when two people are actually connecting. They're rooting for each other. They feel safe. They like each other. It's like that's where like movies are great. But very few people take the time to like find the match. So thank goodness I've had some great matches.
It's a sexy movie, Glen, this movie you made here.
It's not unsexy, that's for sure.
You got, is it sexy filming a bathtub scene? It seems like it would be very uncomfortable. Two people in a bathtub with a lot of crew around.
Well, yeah. I try to bathe with as few audience members as possible.
That's a rule of thumb you've learned over the years. You learned it
the
hard way.
A couple people, maybe just for a laugh track. But
how we doing? We good? Yeah.
Good? Okay, good. No, yeah, there's like this great, it's a great scene.
Yeah.
We're in this bathtub. When we actually shot that, one of the special effects guys put Dawn soap in the bathtub.
Sure.
So I don't know if you know this, but Dawn soap is extremely takes pretty much all the oil off your skin, moisture off of your skin. So we're kind of like out of the bath and we're like, oh, the scene went great, awesome, and then I kind of feel a little itchy, and Adria and my skin just basically came off in sheets. So the next, and then we had to shoot sex scenes for the rest of the day. So we just like packed all the sex scenes in one day. So our skin's basically coming off.
Right.
Mid-sex, very, very raw sex scene, unintentionally raw.
Do you? Look, these scenes have to feel sexy to an audience, so
Yes.
like that must put a lot of pressure on you in the moment. Be like you can't like take direction like be sexier. That's like gonna make you so self-conscious. But like it has to be in your head that you need to really convey something that's going to translate to an audience.
Do you know what's really cool? This is the first time I've ever done this. That's right.
Use your words.
It just started like, it felt like the mustache bit. I was like, this just
Don't
feels
censor yourself. Nope.
Dirty. When we were kind of figuring out what we were going to film in terms of the sex scene, because like you've seen a million of these sort of like romantic scenes over the course of time, but what we did so Audrey and I would send each other like pictures and paintings, like just basically like anything from a magazine or a photo shoot you've seen, where it's like, I got to see what she found sexy, and she got to see what I found sexy.
Wow.
And what we did was like agree on certain moments or poses that felt like reminiscent of what we found sexy. So you kind of end up talking about each other's fantasies without
That's crazy.
having to be awkward about it. So like by the time we got there, it was very comfortable. We were kind of just emulating what we saw.
What did you share?
And that's just really
You
for
opened
us.
Pandora's
Yes.
box. You just I'm a journalist. I have to ask the follow-ups.
For sure. This is what I'll do is I think there's a
No, I don't want you to send it to me. No, I don't want it. I'm good.
No, I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to send it to you at like 2 in the morning. I'm just going to send you it. I'm not even going to explain it.
Yeah, I only get texts from Glen at 2 in the morning, and they're usually big
For
attachments.
the sex scene.
Yeah.
Like, doing it.
Oh my God. Anyway, how to segue out of this? What's the?
Let's live in it for a
Yeah,
second.
let's sit in it. The uncomfortable moment. Here we go. Let's talk music.
Yeah.
Have I asked you this before? Is music important to you to kind of like get into character in the course of this one?
Yeah, in this one, because like energetically, like all these characters that I play in the movie are built on top of Gary Johnson. So Gary is putting on all these disguises.
Right.
So sort of energetically, if you're kind of playing these things, like if I'm playing a Russian character, or if I'm playing like sort of this like redneck type of character, if I'm playing someone who's a little bit more like Anton Sugar, No Country for Old Men, there's like sort of a wavelength you want to be on, in terms of that, in terms of what it makes you feel. And that music is like the shortest distance to get to those places. So yeah, there's some. I have soundtracks for each of the characters.
Wow, that's a lot of work. Is Taylor Swift on any of them? Because you said that Blank Space was your pump up song recently.
I mean, it doesn't get me in sort of a serial killer mood. It's more of like a wake up and hit the day hard sort of mood. But yeah, Taylor Swift, Blank Space. It's a vibe. I wouldn't just say it's a serial killer vibe.
No, yeah. Are you a Swiftie? Have you been to a Taylor Swift concert?
I have not been to a Taylor Swift concert, but I do have some merch.
You do.
Secondhand merch. But I am a Taylor Swift fan. Yeah.
What merch do you own?
I just have some of this last Eras tour. I had enough friends that went, so.
Got it.
I mostly wear it in the privacy of my own home, but now that I've claimed to be a Swiftie, maybe I'll wear it out in public. Yeah.
If you had to, the rest of your life, only listen to Blank Space, Unwritten, or Hold My Hand. That's the only song you can hear the rest of your life.
You know, I'm just wondering which of those songs will be played at my funeral. As they lower me into the ground, is it Blank Space, is it Hold My Hand, or is it Unwritten?
It feels like Hold My Hand.
Or like a strings version of Unwritten.
Right. No,
a sad string, yeah.
Unwritten's the wedding song down the aisle.
That's true. Okay, I'll get married to Unwritten.
Yeah.
Or that'll be more the reception.
Is one of them your ringtone?
I'm gonna go Enrique Iglesias, Hero.
Again, just let it sit there.
Just let it sit. Another weird answer by me. Just throwing it against the wall, guys.
Wow. Oh boy. A little tease on Twisters.
Yeah.
Probably no surprise to hear me say this. I was a big fan of the first one, right up my alley.
I love that movie.
What can we expect?
You know, the coolest part is, look, I mean, you have Steven Spielberg producing it. So he brought together the greatest, department heads. So we got big special effects and big visual effects, and we shot this all in Oklahoma in the middle of tornado season with real tornadoes around and jet engines tearing apart towns. It was like incredible. And Lee Isaac Chung, who's the director, and Daisy Edgar Jones, who's our leading lady and quarterback, just killed it. So, I mean, the movie's really damn good. It's a great summer movie. It's really fun.
Can I expect you reteaming with Sydney first or a Top Gun sequel first, do you think? If I'm putting money on it.
I would say that I believe, look, Sid and I are definitely trying to find something. We haven't figured out what we're doing next. I do know when Top Gun is happening, so I'm assuming Top Gun will be first. I'll be in a jet before. Maybe Sydney comes up in a jet.
I was going to say, kill two birds with one stone.
Just send her to Miramar. Sydney Sweeney goes.
It would take her like 4 days to be a better pilot than you. I'm sad to say.
No, it's actually terrible. And she speaks Russian, so she could be in the MiGs. We could figure it out.
We were talking recently, and she wants to do a musical. She was saying Phantom of the Opera, and I said her Phantom. It's obvious it should be Glenn. Who's your Phantom? Who are we going to cast?
I don't know.
Glenn? Anybody? What's our go-to?
That is so funny.
How are the vocal lessons going? You ready?
It's not good. It's not going well. Skipped out quite a bit, so I'm not a good Phantom. I'm not ready for that quite yet. I can wear the mask if you want, but
yeah, please. Again, text me later.
Sort of a silent.
Yeah. Last important thing. One of the lines in the film that keeps coming up, and it really resonates with me. All pie is good pie.
Amen to that.
That's a truism.
It's a truism.
What's your pie of choice? Top 3, top 2?
I'm gonna go apple pie.
Yep.
With ice cream.
Warm.
Yep. But don't look him in the eyes and never say that again. And then pumpkin with ice cream.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You're like one of the... It's the first time in the conversation I said that. No, it's the first time I was actually interested in something you said today.
Yeah, no, totally. I saw you sleeping and then you woke up for interesting. I was like, oh, there he is.
Movies, pie?
Yeah, pie.
Congratulations, buddy, truly. This is a great piece of work. It's so fun to see you, what you do in front of the camera. I'm so proud that you were able to get this done behind the camera as well, a new step in your career. Everybody should check out Hitman.
Check out Hitman. Yeah, it's really damn good. Honestly, the response to this movie has been across the board so epic. It's an audience movie. Go see it in the theaters May 24th. Watch it on Netflix June 7th. You won't be disappointed.
For a change, I actually trust him this time. This time I trust him. He speaks the truth. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, man.